Hey guys, out here in the woods again, and answering a couple more questions that I got asked recently. Somebody asked, kind of a two-parter actually. What are some of the most exciting things that I'm seeing in the world of automation nowadays? And then somebody else asked, and what are the things that are most annoying, and what do I think maybe most overhyped? So I'll start off with the good one first, the positive. I am seeing a big surge in what we're just going to call ease of use. Low code, no code, drag and drop. Sometimes even there's some companies out there that do some really cool stuff with robotics that it's motion planning without really coding. I think just ease of use. Automation has always been a really high bar for entry, not only for manufacturers, but for machine builders and OEMs. There's some really difficult items out there to use. There's some software that's just clunky. It's old. I think everybody knows, kind of my feeling on ladder logic, a 65-year-old language. Why haven't we replaced that yet? But I'm seeing more and more companies out there that really are, starting to break those molds and come out with controllers that are easier to use, drag and drop interface or flow charting interfaces or things like that. So just general ease of use is something that I'm really excited about. I really think that we need to keep pushing that narrative and keep pushing forward in terms of making just automation, the barrier entry, lower. And the other side of the coin, what am I tired of hearing about, and what do I think is maybe a little too overhyped? I think an obvious one is some of this AI. A lot of this is not AI. It's glorified search engines. It's imitation engine. Does it generate code? Yeah, sure, it generates code, but it generates code that, quite honestly, if you had a library of code, you'd kind of already have. It's maybe giving you a writing prompt. I said if you had like coder's block, you really didn't know, you could explain what you want to do, and it might give you some pseudo code that you could then turn into real code. But most of the time, you're asking it, how do I take this analog signal and turn it into an integer, and that's the stuff that's been done before. I mean, so it's going out on the internet, it's finding that stuff, it's collecting it together, and it's writing some code. It's not. I don't think it's amazing yet. It'll come. There'll be some advances, but it's really, really far on that hype circle. The hype curve right now. The other thing is, I think robots as a service or machines as a service. So RAS or MAS. I think a lot of VCs heard SaaS, software as a service, and they thought, oh my gosh, we got to get into this. I think there's a lot of headwinds, especially with interest rates going up, because let's be honest with you, they're basically financing these machines, for companies. The play has always been spend it out of OpEx, not CapEx. It's been my experience though that OpEx is not always easier to spend than CapEx. CapEx 99% of the time has got to go through a bunch of red tape, but sometimes OpEx, when it gets large enough, it has to go through those same channels as well. So it's not that slam dunk sale. I also don't necessarily see where the return on investment is for the machine builder, the supplier, especially when it's a custom solution. So I really think the only way you can be successful as one of these RAS or MAS companies is to make a very standardized cell that maybe you just change the end of our tool, you change some tooling, you might change a couple little things, get it to the customer. They use it for a while, they don't use it enough, they don't want it anymore, whatever. You take it back, you dust it off, you spend a couple $1,000 retooling it, and then you send it right back out to the next customer. Try to do that with a custom solution. You're not reusing hardly any of those components. Maybe the robot PLC, a couple other things. For the most part, though, your scrap value is upwards of 80, 90% maybe even. So I do not see some of these robots as a service or machines as a service companies surviving, much longer unless they change their way of doing business to going to standardized pieces of equipment. There's a couple of them out there that I think saw that and realized we have to just deploy, common standard little units over and over again. I think standardization is going to be that key to the future, not only just in the RAS and MAS, but even standard machine builders. You've got to come up with that standard piece of equipment that you can just produce over and over again, and just do slight customizations to it to fit those customers' needs. So those are the positives and the upsides and downsides, of automation, in my view, currently in was this Q2 of 2023. So see you guys all at Automate. Can't wait to talk about some of this, and have a good one.